Well, that was definitely a different experience than the last one. I felt a lot less supported that time around.
How so?
Well, what was interesting is I love having particular phrases that I'm repeating. This one was very through composed. I was hoping I would land on something that kept returning, because it would return in your dance, but every time it returned to that moment, I would be at a different place. So I'm like, oh, I can't go back to that. So it was really unique because I felt like I really don't know what I just played. It was really just.
So you got to know what it felt like I did last time we did this.
Yeah, because usually there's at least a little bit of structure. Like I wish we could just do that 4 more times, and I know exactly what we were doing. But that's kind of the nature of improv. You can't do that. So.
Yeah, because we did it twice, and I don't think I repeated the phrase, the dance phrase that I had in my head. I repeated that a couple times in different dynamics, but then I started going off of what you were doing, and just enjoying the ride and seeing where your music took me.
Yeah.
But I did still at least have that thing to come back to, whereas this time for you it was.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really interesting to actually watch it, because everything I did felt a second behind what you did, because you would do a movement and I would react to it. What I would love is to be able to. There were times where we breathed those changes at the same time, and that's like when the magic happens. And then there's a lot of times where I felt like you were walking ahead and I was following you. And both of those are good in improv.
Yeah.
I love switching it up because it's a lot less traditional to have the dance lead. You know, like all ballet, everything. Here's the music.
We have you to inform us as to how to move.
Yeah.
And
how did it feel being in charge?
A little intimidating.
Yeah.
Because I started with a literal sentence. It's actually 3 small sentences. Something that's been going on in my life, and I was like, "Ooh, I'll tell you what my phrase was. It's this time, not next time, not that time, but this time."
Oh, that's beautiful.
And so I was going that within my head and trying to interpret it without anybody else knowing. So it was kind of like my little secret.
I was just gonna say, I had no idea that's what it was about, but wow, it gave me chills.
Oh,
I love it. I love that you had that much meaning in it, you know, and then not even knowing the story you were telling, being a part of that is so interesting.
Yeah, again, usually we're used to having music, and I'm like, okay, this one's on me. So I had to have some inspiration, and that's a lot of times where I will draw some of my dance inspiration. If I don't have that yet, it's just going from something that's going on in my life that I need to let out or express.
It's a really good challenge, and just like life, you know, sometimes you have things that come back and they feel like recurring themes, but most of the time life feels through composed as well.
True.
Right, where it's just a stream of new and
you're slightly ahead or you're slightly behind.
Yeah, and because that's definitely where I felt, which was interesting. I didn't feel the need to repeat and be repetitive, because I felt like what you're doing was always changing. Though it was always Amy and always your story.
And once you came in, again, I started to let go and go off of my theme and play with what you were giving.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
That was fun.
I like that one.
We'll have to do it again.
Yes. Tune in next time.
Next time, you had a great idea for the next one.
Okay, so our next idea. We talked about doing improv at the same time, see what happens.
Yeah.
I think we should still do it, just for fun.
I think we should at some point. I mean, we'll have to do it even if we don't film it, just for fun.
But I had this idea of doing kind of like a game of looks like, sounds like, where you play something small and short, or, you know, a phrase or whatever, and I'll listen and I'll go, oh, well, to me, that sounds like, it looks like this, and I'll do something. And then we'll reverse it. I'll do a little dance phrase, and you'll do what it sounds like. So, looks like, sounds like.
I think that's great.
So
I think it's going to be interesting for me to have to just imitate one little tiny movement. and put that in the
Ooh,
music.
and you have to be really specific and articulate that.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
and,
fun.
like, match the timing or the feel or whatever, the emotion of it. It's gonna be a good challenge.
Yay, I came up with a good game.
So you have to see if we actually pull it off or not.
Stay tuned.
Thanks for
Lot
watching.
23. Check us out. Thanks.